Okay, I believe we are live. Let me get together here. Um, Welcome to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo community. This is a Wednesday show, so this is the Tattoo Now show with special guest Jhon Gutti from Outer Limits. Before we get started, we have a little bit of an introduction, so I'll let you know a little bit more about the network for like 5 or 10 minutes. We have a couple sponsors that we want to thank and whatnot. But if you could let us know if this is working for you in the chat rooms, that would be very helpful. And or maybe tag a friend, a tattooer who loves tattoos. Okay. Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo community is a spot where a virtual place where tattooers, apprentices, and collectors and the curious are all encouraged to join into these live streams. We have discussion panels, we have art jams, we have drawing groups. We're beaming out like five times a day, and it is practically a tattoo network of quality shows that you want to see, with no drama. It's amazing. And in fact, we are days away from being on Roku. It's pretty cool. I actually don't really want to talk about it, but I guess I just did. But before you can find us on Roku, you can find us on either of the app stores. And there is actually a native tablet-sized version now. Oh, wait, I need to click go live here. Ha! See, I'm glad I checked. Well, we went live on like nearly all of it, so I'm not going to repeat anything. But anyways, you could find the Reinventing the Tattoo community on either of the app stores, and there is now a new tablet-sized native version. You want to find it in the educational section. Reinventing the Tattoo is the name of the app. The old one we renamed to Social, and that will be retiring very soon. You can find all of the Reinventing shows, art jams, drawing groups, and all of that right on the homepage of Reinventing the Tattoo. If you scroll down, you will see there's a whole network of replays. It's got 5 channels, 4 right there, and then I think there's an arrow on the interface that you can click. But at any given time, there are 5 different shows on replay. So if it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you're not quite sure what to listen to, plop on some awesome art jams. If you're in the drawing room of your tattoo shop, you could put it up there. Or if you're trying to recommend it to somebody and you're not quite sure which show to recommend, yeah, just tell them to go to the homepage and then click on Watch Now, and there's stuff playing at any given time. It's awesome. Excuse me. Now, all of these streams come from our weekly shows. We have Reinventing drawing groups. You can also go on the homepage of Reinventing the Tattoo. There's a schedule there, a little Google schedule. You'll find the Reinventing drawing groups. They're happening on Sundays, Tuesdays. There's a whole bunch of different events there that you can always find on that calendar. Let's see, Wednesdays, today's Wednesday, every Wednesday at noon we do the Tattoo Now show. Thursdays at 12 noon for over a year, the Tattoo Collecting podcast has been talking to tattoo collectors for yeah, like I said, over a year, every week. It's amazing. Fawn, Jordan, Todd, there's a whole crew there. Ben, it's great. We were just over out there at Red Tree. I'm looking here at my special upcoming events, and it still says the Red Tree event that we just did. It was awesome. Thanks to Derb, to Red Tree, to True Tubes, to everybody that came out. Bob, it was awesome. He did an amazing tattoo from start to last call. It was amazing. It was a great event. You can catch all of the replays and everything on, well, you go to classrooms.reinventing the tattoo, or if you just go to reinventingthetattoo.com, there's actually still a link up top, but all the replays are there in the classrooms. If you go to I think it's the courses link, you'll find all of them. Other upcoming real world events, April, let's see, 11th to the 14th is the first Inspiring Tours. This is it's a Monday to Thursday. There's 3 main days and then a half day that's field trips and critiques and stuff. It's already sold out, but you can sign up to get first word of the next one at inspiring.tours. And these are small group events for, like I said, 3-4 days, from 5 to 15 people in awesome locations. These currently are being booked at the Sam O'Reilly House in New Hampshire. The Boston Tattoo Company is a partner, Jason. And yeah, anyways, it's awesome. So check that out if you want to be involved in any of the next ones. Hell City, Columbus, next tattoo convention. Very excited to be heading out to. That's May 20th to the 22nd in Columbus, Ohio. Hellcity.com. Putting together the Reinventing Room and the seminars as we speak. Well, not quite as we speak, so I'm doing this, but okay. Then July 29th to the 31st is the Rubber City Tattoo Invitational in Akron, Ohio, hosted by Tony Urbanek. We'll be out there. We have June 10th to the 12th is Ink Mania in, I think it's Tampa area. It's down in Florida, right near the Dali Museum. We're gonna do a Dali Museum field trip. Then, oh shit, I forgot Hell City's Arizona dates, but that's happening in August. October 21st to the 23rd is the Richmond Tattoo Convention Jesse Smith is putting on. Yeah, seems like, events are happening again. Make sure you're safe, everybody. But yeah, there we go. Okay. Let's see, I'm just doing a quick double. Oh, looks like there we go. It's working there. Some people are tuning in. Okay, I'm going to check out. We're also on LinkedIn. If anybody's on LinkedIn, you might check it out. It's a little bit more professional, I guess. But it's still, yeah, look at that. It's going live. It was pretty awesome. One of our recent interviewees got hooked up with an article off of the LinkedIn stream. Again, it's more professionals, but in any event, I was just checking in. Like I said, it's one of the last times you'll have. Let us know in the chat rooms that it's working for you. The sponsors that make all of these free streams free. Let's see. Well, again, reinventingthetattoo.com. Guy Aitchison's started off as a 3-ring binder, and now is an amazing subscription. It's actually an enrollment period is now, so now is the time. The first class for the next trimester starts on the 15th, February 15th. So you want to sign up ahead of time. It's $49 a month, and there's weekly exercises. So there are 48 weeks mapped out in order with, like I said, it's got a couple of videos, a couple of pages of lessons, maybe the appropriate guest chapters. And then every week on Monday at 9 o'clock Eastern PM, Guy leads an exercise with a group exercise. And we've been doing this for over a year now. It's amazing to see everybody get better. As of this next trimester, everyone's going to kind of start together in the same sequence. And it's going to be pretty sick. And people are signing up. It's going to be an awesome group. And you can only sign up to Reinventing now 3 times a year. And everyone keeps asking for the book and whatnot, and you can buy it on eBay. It's like, I think it's like $600-700. It's crazy. But you guys just really interested in this format, right? It's really interactive. It's group exercises. People are inspiring each other. Guys doing critiques. Anyways, that's the main reason why this whole thing exists is GuyAitchison.com, reinventingthetattoo.com. Rawpigments.co is a pigment company that is also sponsoring us. They have samples out all over the place from Reinventing events. I think we just ended the goodie bag sample pack registration though. But go to rawpigments.co. They've got a ton of videos. Lauren's been doing interviews with awesome artists, and she's also on the Tattoo Weekly. Happens every Monday at 11. D-Lies Pro is a healing wrap that is designed to heal tattoos, and it's breathable. So if you're still using saran wrap, then you might consider using D-Lies Pro. Check out the videos. They have a stellar lineup of artists that are using it. WorldTattooEvents.com, the most comprehensive website for tattoo conventions and events you can imagine. All of the dates and whatnot are getting updated like almost all the time. It's out of control. WorldTattooEvents.com. Also check out some of Alex's interviews. He's been interviewing convention promoters and whatnot. TattooNOW. I am a computer geek for tattooers, and actually I'm pretty psyched. I've been doing Jhon's website for a long time. We'll probably talk about it. And then, okay, there we go. I think we're near the end. I'm gonna have to take a break and drink or refill my tea. But please leave positive reviews on all of the channels and on the podcast stores and all that. Constructive criticism, as well as sponsorship opportunities and ideas for shows or guests or whatever, to management@reinventingthetattoo.com. And this is usually when I hop off into the background to read the comments, but I have an awesome guest here. I'm going to give him a little bit of an introduction before I bring him on. Let's see here. So Jhon is originally from Colombia, in South America, of course. He began tattooing at the age of 15, so we'll probably talk a little bit about his origin story. And it looks like around 2014 or 2006, I don't know, then he moved up to America, and he ended up landing at Outer Limits, Carrie Barbershop, a legendary shop. At the oldest one, it's got a history museum in there. And so it's been awesome to catch up. Last couple of times I've been out to San Diego. I haven't been able to catch up with him, which was very sad, but going to be able to now. And you could find him online. It's Jhon Gutti. Just do a search for Jhon Gutti Tattoo. You'll find all of his different links everywhere. You'll probably find some of the other Jhon Gutti misspelled clearly. I don't know if he's run into that, but I was all of a sudden looking at all this gangster stuff. Okay, Jhon, I'm going to ask you to unmute, and then I'll move into gallery mode here. Is this thing working?
Can you hear me now?
Perfectly.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. I know it's a little early there in California, but
yeah, thanks for having me here.
Oh, of course. You know, your work has been stellar for a very long time, and I don't know, it's exciting to be able to, well, again, to catch up, and then I'm gonna fire up some of your pieces that we could show off to people. So, you know, I did a bit of searching around. I didn't see too many interviews. I'm pretty excited to learn about your origin story, and kind of, you know, how'd you get into tattooing, and you know, what were some of those? Well, here we go. Now's the chance for us to get a hold of your origin story. Tell us about it, please.
Well, I got into tattoos. It's funny because when I was a kid, I was watching all these like martial arts movies, and you know, many of these fighters like, you know, came out with like sleeves or bodysuits and all that stuff. So I was asking my dad, like, hey, what's that? Like, why do they have like all those things on their body? I was like 6 years old. And then he goes, oh, well, those are like tattoos, but let's not talk about that until you're older. So, all right. The conversation was like put on hold until I was a little older, and he got a small tattoo. He got a small tattoo here on his chest. And I was like, you know, I was like, wow, Dad, you got that? And then when I was 15 years old, I got my first tattoo, you know, like with a scratcher.
You got your first tattoo.
I do not recommend that. But yeah, I was like really excited actually. You know, it was a friend of mine. And then yeah, like, you know, one thing led to another, and I ended up like when I think it was like 19, 20. That's when I first like got interested into like actually like knowing more about this, and why not just like making a career out of it.
Yeah, cool. And now at what point were you interested in art? So were you like always drawing? Did that come later?
Yeah, I think no, like since I was a kid, I was like always like making draws on walls and my my room door, like on the back. It's funny, my parents still have that door on my, you know, on the room that I used to sleep on. And yeah, every time I come and visit them, it's kind of like a nostalgic kind of thing to watch it. And yeah, all of like those little drawings are still there.
Oh, it's amazing. And so they were encouraging. Did your parents encourage? I mean, did they have to come around, or were they always into it?
No, not really. I mean, they enjoyed what I was drawing, but they never were like supportive about like me becoming an artist. Actually, there's another story that it was always a fight. You know, I come from a very like traditional family, so of course they wanted me to be you know, some sort of like another professional, like a doctor, an engineer, a lawyer, any of those things, because you know, this misconception of like not being able to make a living out of art is still pretty real down there in Colombia. You know, sometimes like people think that this is more like a hobby than an actual like job, you know.
Sure.
And then in art per se, I got interested because my grandma, she does oil painting. So when she was looking at my like pencil drawing and color pencil drawings, she was like, well, give it a shot. You know, it's fun too. So she got me into oil painting, and that's when like I think she kind of like a spark something inside me that I was like very, very like art driven since then. You know, I've been like just like trying to learn the, you know, as much as I can. I never did like a proper training on art, because you know what I just mentioned about my family. I ended up becoming an architect,
Oh,
and
wow.
I actually like started tattooing and started studying architecture almost simultaneously. And when I got my degree in architecture, I actually stopped like tattooing for about 2 years. That, you know, like I dedicated my life to architecture, but then I realized I wasn't like feeling it. You know, like I enjoy architecture. I love the you know, that's another art. I love it, but yeah, I was just missing too much the fun of like making tattoos.
Yeah. And what was it? Was it just the fun, or what are the other aspects of tattooing that that really drew you in? No,
Well,
no pun intended.
you know, yeah, when I first got into it, everything was so secretive about it that I was like really like in need to know more about it. You know, I was like, this looks, you know, to me, tattoos have always like kept that like mysterious part, you know, like the meaning, the process, the execution of certain things. So it was just, I think it was more like a mixture of like curiosity and passion.
Yeah, cool. Now this is a mix of two of your arts. You're a are you? I don't even know the names of it. I know that do you practice jujitsu or
This is for a client that
uh
his a jiu-jitsu fighter.
huh.
So yeah, he wanted me. He's from I think he's training with this house called Checkmate. So that's why all these like chess pieces are all over the place.
This is a great piece.
Thank you.
I love chess. I'm not a martial arts guy necessarily sometimes, but a lot of friends do. But this is just obviously a wicked cool combination of.
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
He
did you
was
do the whole
explaining me all
design,
the
or
philosophy.
did you do the design for this, or how did
Yeah,
this
yeah,
come about?
yeah. I prepare all my designs. I don't really like take what the client brings. I don't I
Yeah.
don't I don't feel like that's going to inspire me to do something cool. So I rather just taking the idea they bring and kind of like have a little of free range and control over the design. Of course, I think that's very important if you really want to like enjoy what you're doing. You know, I don't want this to like I never have felt like this, but and I hope I never like feel like bored in the middle of a session. So that's why I like prepare my own stuff and you know, do something that I know I'm gonna be enjoying.
Yeah, cool. Well, definitely it all stands out. Now, what is your process like? I mean, did you go and film or take pictures? Did he have pictures? Did you have
If
3D chess pieces or?
no, so I use, you know, whatever I can use. So when I'm able to like take the pictures and come up with my own references, well, that's ideal, you know. But not every day you have a chance to like
Of
go
course.
to location and shoot the photos and then come back home and prepare everything. So yeah, like I I search into I do a lot of like web surfing, you know. I try not to use Google or any of this because then everybody's gonna be like getting the same photos. So
Yep.
I really go deep in the web and try to find like unique references or taken by professional photographers. And you know, I take my time on like the reference search.
Nice. Here's another great piece.
Thank
Are
you.
you taking new clients, or how does booking you work?
Yeah, I'm always taking new clients. I don't book myself too far out because I kind of like just like book projects that I know I'm gonna be enjoying. You know, that I
Hmm.
can assure my client that I'm gonna give my 100%. You know, so I want to enjoy what I'm doing, and that's why I don't book everything that, you know, comes to me.
That's great. And now, how long in your career did it take for you to get to that point? or I guess maybe we skipped over a couple of years. Haha. There's a lot of younger tattooers that are very interested in people's stories, about how they
Oh,
make it, right? So, how during that transition when you started to tattoo, did it take, about how long did it take before you were turning away tattoos that you weren't interested in?
oof. I mean, I've been like, so it's a funny story. I think there's some evidence on TattooNOW.
Oh,
Um, I started with like new school tattoos. So
awesome.
um, I kind of like learned there some stuff. And then back then in Colombia, in my hometown Medellin, there weren't like any like artists like creating like realistic color pieces. So that was my niche for almost 5 6 years. And then I really got interested in the black and gray thing. And I had an opportunity to attend a convention in Guadalajara, Mexico. And I met with like some artists there that they just simply like blown my brains away. I was like, holy moly, this is amazing. It's beautiful. So I became friend with one of them, and since then we just like been talking and being good friends.
Who is
He
that?
had me
How can we find that
Scrappy,
artist?
Scrappy Uno. So like it will be like Scrappy One. His he's located in Mexico City, and so yeah, we spent some time. Like I went there to visit. I did some tattoos on his place, and then he kind of like gave me some tips, which I never got because that was something that I totally skipped. I never got like a former apprenticeship. I basically like self-taught. And funny story time. I learned like nerding the tattoos that I spotted on TattooNow.com. So
Oh,
this is like the early years of TattooNow. It was
oh,
just
awesome.
one of the few sites that can like you can actually find where they were like sharing tattoos. So like basically like online portfolios.
Sure.
So I
It was
was
it was a kind of it
nerding.
was almost like reality tattoo TV before reality tattoo TV back like in the forums.
Yeah,
People were on the forums and
yeah, like way back. I don't know. This is like 2005, 2004 maybe.
oh, awesome.
And yeah, I was just like nerding every tattoo there. I was just like just trying to like basically like uh try to understand how they did what I was looking at. So it was hard, it was hard because back then, I mean, you didn't have like social media or any of this stuff, no YouTube. So everything was kind of like you try to figure out something and see how it goes.
Sure.
And so it was more like a try and error thing, right? And yeah, so that's basically like skipping forward again. How I ended up like just strictly doing black and gray after like that contact with the Mexican culture. I was just like, wow, dude, this is really amazing. I met there like Indio Reyes, Jose Lopez, Scrappy Uno, and some other like fantastic artists there. And I was like, wow, dude, this is really cool. So I went back to Colombia and I switched from color realism to black and gray. It was a slow transitioning, but I think I finally made it.
Uh,
I'm no longer taking like color tattoos, and yeah, that's basically how I landed on these realistic pieces.
awesome. I didn't mean to go past. This is an amazing tattoo here. The depth that you're able to achieve is pretty awesome.
Yeah, my client really felt that depth.
I bet, huh?
No,
Whew.
put in
So,
all that black, he was really having a hard time.
yeah, I bet it looks real nice. Now, at the sake of the generic questions, about how long does a piece like this take?
Uh, I mean, that's always a challenging question. And like actually during my consultations, I never give time.
Of course,
Like estimates
yeah.
is there are too many variables involved. That is I still finding that a little hard. But I think this one took a little bit over 40 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like
Yeah.
over 40 hours. Not
Of course.
exactly sure.
Yeah. I mean, we would never hold you to it in any client that would, but, mostly what we want to do is just talk about the reality of it, right? So that,
Yeah.
so that artists can stop complaining that people come in looking for sleeves in 2 days,
Oh,
or,
no. Yeah.
although I have to
There's no-
admit, when I have, a shop that I'm working with, I'm always like, you know what, if you want to send those sleeves that want to get done in a day over to, our side of the woods, I'll talk to them.
Yeah.
We could always talk them into it, because they want to get it right. If
Yeah,
they're coming in for a sleeve, just, of course, there's a big commitment
Yeah.
gap there that you need to get past. But
Yeah,
I mean,
totally.
you can get past it clearly. Now, did he was this client tattooed by you before they decided on the back piece, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, like you can see like his arms,
Yeah, cool.
and his arm had been like basically done by me.
Awesome.
And we recently started another piece on his arms.
I was going to say, you must you're going to be getting used to, if you're not already used to, people now dissecting your tattoos to figure out how the fuck you're doing these things, huh?
Well, I hope they like it. They help someone, like if, and I'm more than open to, like, I'm not secretive about it. I experienced that, and like I had a lot of like young artists that reach out to me asking me like, what's my setup, and like what type of thing do I use, and the machine and everything. And I, whenever I have time, I always like respond to that, because I don't want them to, like, if I can save them some time figuring that thing out, I'll help. I don't mind helping others.
Yeah, I'd love to, when we wrap up the public part of the interview, go over some technical questions.
Yeah, sure.
Just for the sake of the Tattoo Now and some reinventing tattooers, and because I'm just looking at this, I mean, and for clients too, I mean, the way that you're using the different types of contrast in this piece.
Yes.
It's like you could, I mean, you could almost make this a seminar in contrast and the different types of contrast, the textural contrast, the positive on negatives, and
yes,
using the full shapes,
I like that a lot. I like the write-on and what you can actually do with the skin without touching it, So this is something that I was battling for so long to figure out, this just not like randomly happened. I think I spent the last probably 4 years trying to figure out something that can stand out and kind of like be different, which is really hard right now, because then you find someone in the other side of the globe and he's doing something similar to you, and you're like, holy moly, how did this ever happen? But I mean, the more we try to, I feel this way, the more you try to like be unique, the more people like you're going to be finding all the time. So it's funny. But yeah, I try to like bring some like you can call like stripes or geometrical elements, because I wanted to merge some of my years in architecture,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
cool.
it's simple, it's simple, but it adds some write-on there. Sometimes, 100%. This is a famous quote from an architect, a German architect called Mies van der Rohe, and he claimed that less is more. So sometimes the less you add, the more beauty you're actually gonna like achieve. So it's sometimes it's hard to battle your brain to like, let's add more, let's add something here, but it's like, all right, let's try to keep it simple and see how it looks first, and then we'll start adding some other elements and see what happens.
Absolutely. It's amazing how difficult it is, or how complicated it is, to make things as simple as they could be. And that's
indeed,
it's amazing. And again, it's fun to see how you're using, again, like just the nice, just the parts that of the effects that you're needing. And now these are, this clearly is rendered, different than the reference.
Yeah.
I have to imagine it. So it's like you're using your reference for maybe for some shapes or maybe for some lighting, but like the way that you're doing the furs and the different textures in here, now, was this a client request? Was just a little bit of color in the eyes? Is that like one of the common ones
Yeah.
that comes
Yeah.
in? But
I'm not a big fan of that, but
you just
so,
made fucking 5,000 people request it.
oh my God.
Sorry, I'm
Shame
gonna
on me.
screenshot. I'll screenshot this again just to so it's obvious. But the request of just a little bit of color in the eyes, but
Yeah.
to the point is like you killed it with this piece, with that common request.
Yeah,
Like,
they like, I got a lot of those, and I'm like, all right, I guess it's like something that people are gonna keep asking, so there's no reason to keep battling.
mhm.
But yeah, I mean, like, I'm I'm happy to do it.
Sure.
Not a big
So
fan though, but
yeah. I mean, obviously I don't mean to disparage anybody's ideas. I have plenty of ideas that other people that I took from other people straight up, or like, or whatever, or
yeah,
photo references. I didn't rip off anybody's ideas, but
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure at this point you've noticed, or if you found some copycats or some people that have nicked your ideas. How do you feel about the biters? I don't even really care to talk about it, but I am interested
Yeah,
sometimes to
I
hear people's
mean,
attitudes.
it's I don't even know how to feel about it, like, I guess, like, you know, at some point, everybody that, especially people like me that learn on its own, at some point we were using references from like straight up tattoos, right?
Sure.
In my case, I never like a straight copy of the tattoo. I was always trying to like modify it, or let's bring something different, or let's change the color, let's do something here and there, and I stopped doing it like very early in my career, because I wanted I've always been dreaming for like finding like your own fingerprint.
Mhm.
So I stopped using that. I realized, like, well, if they're doing this, it means that we're using an actual reference. So I'm just going to start using my own actual references and try to put something together. At first they weren't cool. So of course I was just like trying to figure out something, but I don't really feel offended. I feel like I feel sorry a little for the client,
Yeah.
because they come to you and they want something unique, and you try your best to give them that, and then someone just like straightforward copied it to you. I feel sorry for the client, but it's something that I mean, it's been inevitable for so long. It's not going to change. So I guess it's just part of the process of so many artists. Some other just stay there, which is it's a little, I don't know how to put it without like offending anybody, but like I wish it was different. I wish people like can actually like stop doing that at some point in their careers, and just like like try to explore themselves and try to explore their own ideas, and see what they can come up with. Like inspiration. Yeah, you can find
Yeah.
inspiration in so many pieces. But inspiration doesn't necessarily mean like a straight, let's bring that like the
Copy it
same way that
over
it
and
is.
whatnot.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to try to copy like the master paintings and figure out processes and
yeah,
whatnot.
yeah, we're
Another
still
thing
doing that.
to post it up. I mean, for the most part, any energy you're spending on biters, or is energy that you're not spending doing the next thing. And I mean, I always have been of the mindset. I'm working in more in the digital world, so anything that you make
Uh-huh.
digitally can be replicated, like
Yeah,
without cost. And so it
yeah,
really drives us to like always keep on working on the next thing, right? They could always copy the last thing, but they can't copy the next thing because
yes,
and so that's good. Yeah, it's a good healthy attitude. Sometimes, like I said, sometimes I don't even know why I haven't asked. But well, I asked because I was looking at your work, and it's unique enough that you could see that people would want to take it. And again, part of it is it's not when they say that like copying is flattery, sometimes it's like, yeah, well, it doesn't fucking feel like it. But the fact is, it is nature's way of
it,
saying, hey, people give a shit about what you're doing. It's like it's way harder to
yeah,
come up with stuff that people want to copy, than
yeah,
it is to there's way more people that are doing art that no one wants to copy.
yeah. I
And
mean, and like I say, it is inevitable. Like if you're doing something and people like it, someone, we're so many humans, someone will want it, so it's hard to say like don't do it, because people are gonna still doing that. And I don't like I don't necessarily feel like offended by that. Again, I feel a little sorry for the client because I knew they wanted something unique,
Something cool.
but
Yeah.
like I feel like clients, it's like buying, let's say it's like buying an original piece of art versus a print, like people know they have the original and they're happy with that. So I don't think they mind other having that. But yeah, I mean, I don't really feel like bad about it.
Yeah, cool. So I think now I've been trying out this new, automated, personalized booking stuff where I'm sending you the emails through my computer. I think that it said sometimes I've been asking these questions to the artist, and then it's like, oh wait, no, the computer must have suggested that for us. But did you click off switching from rotaries or switching from coils to rotaries on the subject list?
Yeah, I think I did. I'm not really sure.
So one of the questions that comes up often is about the switch from using coil tattoo machines to rotary tattoo machines. I imagine when you were starting in Colombia, did you start off with like handmade coil machines, or what kind of machines were you getting?
No, actually, I bought a pre-owned machine, a coil machine. I think they ripped me off.
Sure.
I didn't know anything. It was so expensive back then. I was like, holy fuck.
And supplies must have been very difficult to get. So.
Yeah, it was very, very difficult to get a machine out there because, think of this. When I first started, there were only like 4 tattooers in a whole city, just 4. So getting supplies was only, I don't know. It was really hard.
Yeah. I don't want to be your typical, Netflix watching, American, but like, were you tattooing like gangsters and stuff, or like who was getting tattooed if there's only 4 tattooers in the whole city?
I don't know, man. I mean, they kept their lives pretty busy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who they were tattooing, but they were busy all the time. Not like now, like that you have like months or even years booked in advance, but they were decently busy, and plus back then tattoos weren't that popular either in my country. So I mean, I guess they're still doing it, so I'm just guessing they were able to survive. They were doing just fine, I guess.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
okay,
yeah,
to the coils. Let's talk about the switch.
So I started with coils. I've been doing like sports and all that stuff, so I don't have like necessarily a very good wrist. So coils, after like, I think it was like maybe 8-9 years tattooing with coils, my hands started like giving me some trouble. So I was trying to find like the lighter way coil machines, and I found this company with a couple of like pretty cool human beings, are the Gogue twins. So they were using some like really lightweight materials, and they were like making this really amazing machine. So this switch to this company, I think it was beneficial for a while, but after like, I think it was like 4 or 5 years working with them, my hands started like again giving me troubles, and then that's when I landed here in California. And actually like Carrie was the one that told me like, hey, try a rotary. They're lightweight, and coming from her that she's been doing this for 40 plus years, I was like, well, I might as well just listen to what she's saying and do the switch. So I think like there's a eternal question, because I know it's still like a sensitive thing for some artists, like coil or rotaries. to me, they're just tools, and you just have to use whatever you feel more comfortable with, you know? It's not a matter of like, oh, you're just like a disgrace because you're using rotaries. Because if we skip backwards, sorry, if we just go backwards, I mean, the first tattoos were made with machine. So,
I mean, like the first,
it's
what,
just,
10,000 years? Well, so wait, humanity, are you good with your
no,
archaeology? Or, no.
no, I'm
It's been at
terrible at
least
that,
like,
but
it's probably like 5 to 10,000 years of
yes,
tattooing happened
yes.
without any sort of,
And,
ecological
and
instruments.
you don't, yeah, and you don't even need to go that far, you know, like all the Islander natives, you know, they were doing tattoos with something, you know,
Right.
not necessarily an electric
Oh
tattoo
no.
machine, you know. So
Mental note. I'm gonna drop in the links here to the archaeology talks. I should be remembering
yeah,
my facts a little bit better. I bet I'm guessing 10,000-ish years, but
10,000
yeah,
is the
I
same
think
number I have,
yeah,
over 10,000 years.
for people, and I believe that the mummy is like 3 to 4,000 years old. Like, so like the oldest mummy that they found. I don't know. Like I said, that's why you have to click on the button to fact check us. Anyways,
Yeah.
but the museum. So you landed there. Like, so okay. So how did you land there at Outer Limits? You talked about it a little bit, but like, or maybe
Oh,
like any experience of being there. It's
so I came to the US on vacations, and you know, I just got married in Colombia. So we were like, okay, well, let's do this vacation trip to the US. And so we went to the East Coast, and the whole plan was to stay there on the East Coast because it's just closer to Colombia. It's like only like 3 hours flight. And so we were just like staying in Miami, and I think we were supposed to go to Orlando. So when I was here, I called my friend Steve. He's from here, from the West Coast, and he was like, "Oh, that's so cool. Are you guys gonna come here to the West Coast?" And I'm like, "No, it's not planned." So he was like, "Oh, you should come here. You know, you should stay with me. I'll like show you around." And we were like, you know, we had a budget to just stay there. So like, no, I don't think we're gonna change the plan like such a last minute thing. So the very next day, I got an email with 2 airplane tickets. So he purchased the tickets for us,
awesome.
and he was like, now you. So he called me and he said, now you don't have any excuse. You're coming here. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to California. So we take the trip. When I was here, he was like, well, why don't, because we were planning to on staying like for like a month, you know, just like driving around and going to the theme parks and all this stuff, you know, all tourist stuff. And then he was like, well, why don't you do a short guest spot at Outer Limits? I can get you some clients. I was like, I mean, I didn't bring anything, you know, I was on vacation plan. So he let me use his equipment. And yeah, that's like, I did like, I think it was like 5 days guest spot here. And the last day, Carrie approached me and say, okay, keep in mind, I wasn't speaking no English at all, like nothing. I only knew to say hi, thank you, bye. I need water, I need the restroom, and that's it.
Oh
That was
shit.
pretty much my English.
Uh-huh.
So Carrie came the last day, and she was like, hey, you should stay here and work with me. And I was like, oh, um, I don't know. I mean, it's a big decision. And before this vacation, 6 months before, I opened my own studio
Oh
in
wow.
Medellin. So I was like, I'm a little short on cash right now because I basically put all my savings on that studio. So that's like a big
Sure.
move. And plus, my wife was she was owner of a spa, and
Uh-huh.
so it wasn't just like a my call, my decision. You know, I needed to talk to her and figure this thing out. So yeah,
Sure.
we ended up like, you know, making the decision, and that's how I ended up here.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, if you get the opportunity to work in a shop with Carrie Barber and her whole crew, like
Yep.
it's amazing to be able to do that. Look at this. This is crazy.
Yeah. That's like a wedding portrait.
Yeah, I like it seems like you're using the Instagrams pretty well. Do you have any tips for tattooers on how to do effective
Well,
Instagramming? Or?
it's funny that you say that because I think I'm terrible at Instagram. because
This is looking good. You've got some videos here. You got some gallery
yeah,
pictures.
I try to be active, at least like post like once or twice a week.
You got like black backgrounds going on with stuff.
Yeah, that's part of the studio. So we have like a room for the pictures. And yeah, that's how, like, I just have my client to stand up against the black wall and just take the picture. So everything is like blackout already, because before that I used to take the pictures outside and then go to Photoshop and do all the black background. So it's kind of like a saving time just to have a black wall at your studio and take the picture there. It saves you a lot of time.
Could not agree more. And one of the things that we made sure that we ended up with was a photo area with a black wall. I think we maybe had a white curtain too, potentially, but yeah, absolutely. Any tattoo shop owner listening, black wall, it makes your tattoo, all of the artists' tattoos look great. The other thing that we did is we had, because the support team took all the pictures at the end of the day, this is kind of near the end, but for like a couple months, like we would get at the end of the day, all of the tattoos that happened at the shop that day would get sent in an email out. And so like all of a sudden I was able to just see, all 6 to 15 tattoos that happened that day. And it was like, oh man, this is amazing.
Yeah, that's actually good.
Like just for the documentation and the visibility for the shop owners to have is pretty cool. Now what's going on here? This is doing some collaboration work here?
Yeah, it's a 3-way collaboration. So I team up with Shade Bertimos and Adrian Franco. And we put out this design, and our client, which, he's a trooper because he went through basically hell through that process. We did that in 2 days in a row. So he was amazing. Our client, my respect to him, he took that like a champion.
2 days in a row with 3 people is absolutely
3 people.
Looks great.
And simultaneously, like we were like, at least 2 were tattooing at the same time the whole time.
That's insanity. Yeah. Well, let's check out. Oh man, look at this. Okay, we'll check out this, and then we'll do 5 or 10 minutes for some tattooers. Look at that.
Yeah, sure.
So, what was the concept for that the client came to you with this for this piece?
Oh, so
do you remember?
He wanted, yeah. I remember this because that's like Lady Aquarius. So he just wanted like the composition to have the lighthouse. He just wanted a lighthouse when he first came in. And then he was like, well, so I asked him, what's the concept about it? Like, why did you want a lighthouse? Because I'm not a big fan of like nautical tattoos. So I'm always trying to like understand why they're getting and see if I can suggest something different. And so he was like, oh, well, this is like because of Aquarius, and the lighthouse is kind of like my norm, my guiding light. So I was like, oh, okay, so let me just do this in a different way. I'm going to present you the design, and we'll see what happens. So the day of his appointment, I came with this, and he was like, oh my God, I love it, let's do it. And then that's it. I think that's no, that's not a
awesome.
I think that's a heel photo. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it looks like it says one more tune-up session to finish. So my guess is that it's
that's probably like the not the last one, but the one before.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. But that's pretty fun. Now, did you have like a backup design of like your classic lighthouse in case you said no, or do you just?
No, I just put everything. No, I just put everything and just paid my shot. I was like, this is it. Like,
awesome. Yeah. Well, I mean, I really could just go on forever and keep taking a peek at all these, but we're not going to, because people could go to your website. They could go to your Instagram. It's JHONGUTTI, real easy one there. And same thing for the website.
For the website, yeah.
And then so I guess maybe we could just thank the public, let people know what kind of pieces maybe are you interested in doing? More large pieces, smaller one-shot pieces,
Yeah,
freaky pieces?
I'm all about like big pieces. I enjoy the process. I really like the opportunity to like not just like create these pieces on people, but like to get to know them, you know, because this is basically like a 1 year relationship with like the clients, you know, at least. So you get to know them, you get to like talk and like, you know, just have like fun. You know, I don't like to see my job as just like go there, tattoo someone and then come back home and rest. I really, because you know, like think of it, we spend 8 to 10 hours daily at the studio, so it kind of like becomes your second home. And I mean, if you're gonna spend that amount of time somewhere, you might as well like, you know, do the best to enjoy it. So I like working on big scale projects just because I get to know the people. They get to know a lot about me, you know, like music, like TV shows, movies, video games, art, paintings, all that stuff. So it's a cool like experience. You know, I try to make the tattoo sessions more like experience other than just go there and get this little asshole to torture you for 6 hours. You know, I try to
Oh
make
yeah.
this like, you know, more comfortable and like a friendly environment too, you know.
Sure. Absolutely. I mean,
So
they're going to remember that experience until they're dead.
yeah. I mean, that's what that's my main goal, you know. Like I want them to, if it's their first time getting tattooed, I want them to remember in a very, very nice way. Because I feel the
Mhm.
first experience you get with tattoos will determine whether or not you're gonna keep getting more. You know, I feel that's like really important. So whenever like I have a first timer with me, I'm like I try to make the like, you know, the best experience possible for them, so they can not to make them come back to me, because I always tell them like I'm not the only artist. I'm not the only one making this kind of tattoos. You should check more because it's good to collect. You know, it's good to like get experience, get a piece from other artists, and you
Sure.
know, it's good to like not to stay with the same person. So I encourage them to actually like look to other other artists, and why not just like, you know, get a glimpse of, you know, what they enjoy more. You know, like my experience, the other artist
Just
experience.
with the caveat though, if you go to another tattooer, they have to be complimentary to, you know, like it's I mean, obviously clients have the right to go get a shitty tattoo after they get a great tattoo. You know, it's their body.
Yeah,
And kind of to your point earlier, like even if somebody's getting like a copy of something that was bid off of a copy, like no one's
yeah.
forcing that client to sit there and get the tattoo. Like
Oh
that's
yeah,
one of the
totally.
things about tattooing is like, you know, it's a very shared responsibility. Like, you know,
Yeah.
the tattooer has an obligation to do the best and not fuck it up, but the client is,
Yep.
you know, literally paying or volunteering
I
to sit in the chair.
yeah, I try to give them some advice about it. You know, I always tell them like just, you know, uh, look at their portfolio, look at their studio. You know, don't go into like any like street shop without first making sure they're good, they're legit, they're clean. You know, like nowadays with all this COVID thing, like you really want a clean environment. You know,
Mhm.
so yeah, that's like I just like give them some advice, like, and I feel like whenever you give them a good experience, they have a good starting point or something to compare to. So I'm just trusting my clients' criteria when they go to another shop to, like, you know, compare that is a safe environment, that the art quality is good. So yeah, I mean that's fine, you know.
Well, you're setting them up for, you know, between, you know, the experience and the tattoo that you're giving them and the outer limits experience and environment, you know, it's a tough
It's
act to
a it's a
follow.
nice it's a
Uh,
nice experience because of what
yeah.
you mentioned earlier. It's a museum. Is the oldest tattoo shop that is still running in America. It was first opened in 1927, and yeah, I mean it's a nice experience because you don't go there just to get a tattoo. Like you basically are like walking through history. So it's actually cool. It's a nice experience from the beginning to the end. for the clients, because they get to see like all this like cool, super old machines and the power supplies, all these like stencils on the walls, super old pictures. They get to know a little bit more about it, so it's not just going for the session.
A big vat of Vaseline, a safe.
Oh yeah,
who knows what's in it?
Yeah, we don't know. We're waiting till I think it's a 27. So in like 5 years, we're planning on opening that safe and see. My guess is there's nothing.
Yeah,
but
who knows,
or just
right?
papers. Yeah, but who knows?
Yeah. It's I can only imagine. One thing I think about some of the digital versions of that, and I was just thinking, like, somebody was asking about some like video, and I'm like, oh man, if I when I die, and if anybody gives a shit about going through all the hard drives of like, there's just
it's right there
25 years of, well, it's amazing. I have to thank you for following TattooNOW of like way back in the day. How did you first find it? Do you remember?
I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't really know. I don't remember, and plus I don't have a very brilliant memory. But
it's like 15 years ago. So
I guess like just typing tattoos. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it just popped up. But thank God it popped up, because I blame TattooNOW for like kind of like bringing me this path. I was really like, wow, this is way cooler than I thought. Like I was looking like all these really old pieces by Nico Hurtado, Bob Tyrrell, Mike DeVries.
Sure.
Yeah, all these like major names.
What was the Nico's tattoo? Was a Catwoman?
No, back then he was.
It was like a Batman sleeve.
It was like a Batman. Yeah. I think it was a character for sure.
I remember,
but I think it was like a Batman. I think it was a Batman. And Mike DeVries were like all these like the animals, the gorillas, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, sure, that was fun. That was crazy, fun time.
It was fun. Fun times.
I guess we should talk a little bit about the art retreat too. You reminded me that we met briefly in person there. Or I guess it was a couple of days, but at the Paradise Art Retreat in New Mexico. We're doing various events, but I guess it's worth reminiscing and exploring about that a little bit. Do you remember how you found out about that, or what attracted you to the art retreat?
Oh well, since I have the website with you guys, I was checking the publicity about it, and I noticed like some of the headliners were Nick Baxter, Jeff Gogue, and Guy Aitchison. So they were like doing like this painting training, and I was like, well, it's a great opportunity, and I'm just gonna go there, because for painting I'm still like learning, and so I'm more interested in like painting events than tattoo events. Not out of any like arrogant attitude or anything like that, but like sure. I feel like I can learn more from painting now that I'm like more aware about it. And for tattoos, I feel like in my case, I've been always like driven to find my own style, my own thing. So I don't want to like, I don't know if it's because I never got an advice from anybody when like, early years tattooing. But I feel like at this point, I just want to like perfect my art craft without like getting clues from anybody else. Again, it's not out of any like arrogant attitude. I just feel like, it's been my process since the beginning like this. So I don't want to like, get these different things in between.
I mean, exploring your imagination outside of the limitations of skin and obviously clients are an insane wealth of ideas and inspiration and a real gift for tattooers compared to some of the other arts. Totally. But like, you could experiment with paintings, you can, and you could achieve different effects, that you wouldn't be able to achieve. And then,
totally.
People like Baxter, and like we were saying, like the art retreat is a real good spot to to mix the two. We're trying out a new format in April. You probably heard me in the intro where it's like 4 days, three solid days, two painting. One with Nick is going to go out and everyone's going to do plein air. And then the next day inside with a still life with Sean Barber. And then the next day they'll be tattooing. They're going to do a collaborative tattoo where they're bringing in elements of what they were doing the previous days in their paintings and showing people how they would, tattoo, in a similar manners, or not in similar,
Well, sounds amazing.
To achieve effects. So, and it's 5 people.
Yeah.
So it's like
5 people.
Only 5, right? So it's a very small group, and it'll be good. We'll do a couple more of things like that. Well, have you done any teaching, or like I said, clearly you've got yourself to a skill level where you have enough to offer.
I've done a couple of seminars, like tattoo seminars. One was like focused on my technique, and then the second one was more like talking about the industry and our relevance in this, relevance and responsibility in this entire history of tattooing. So it was fun. It's a fun experience. On the second one, people were like attending thinking that I was going to be talking more about my technique, which I at the end kind of like explained it a little bit. There's nothing mysterious about it. So I just like showed them everything in like 5 minutes,
Sure.
And then, but I was more concerned to bring awareness about like the importance of like respecting the elders and kind of like our responsibility to kind of like, carry that knowledge to the generation that is coming after ours. So, it's a beautiful art and it's a beautiful lifestyle too. I love what I do. I love my job. I feel like if you live it responsibly, like it's the best you can do for something that is being shared for so many years. You just like receiving that for your life, and then you just put it out there for whoever is coming after.
That's amazing. Now, I mean, I don't want to hit you on the spot on a live video or whatever, but if you're interested in maybe presenting that seminar or the seminars, through Reinventing, we'd love to, or through the internet sphere. It sounds pretty awesome. One of the things that amazes me sometimes is, I mean, I've seen so many seminars. It's one of the things that I do is facilitate seminars, but there'll be times where somebody, I remember it was like Shige, I think, and he was like talking about the history of the stories and back pieces being like, here's 2 or 3 different back pieces, same story, 15 seconds difference, and just the care. And it was, I mean, admittedly, it wasn't very sexy, but like it was amazing, and he was there. And as a couple of people as they're walking out, they were like, "I wish he just told us how he tattooed," and I'm like, "He fucking just did."
Yeah, bringing awareness about it. It's not always like easy, because some people and I don't blame them, like if they just curious about certain techniques, and they just want to learn it. I mean, it's good if that's what you're interested in. I mean, it works for you, right? But I feel like there's more about it. It's not just the way you do things. It's like about the whole process. It's like what's behind it. How you prepare yourself, what you're struggling with sometimes, because we're sensitive people. We're artists, so we sense things differently. And that being said, we also can struggle with so many things. Like I have experienced that my entire career. Sometimes you hit a wall and you like kind of like lost your north, and you're like, shit, what do I do next? Like I feel like I'm stuck here, and I feel like I'm not evolving. But I feel like that's part of the process of evolving, questioning yourself, just like looking in a mirror and, okay, what am I seeing? What am I looking at right now?
Can you tell us, sorry, just to hone in on that, can you tell us a story about, like, there's obviously a lot of tattooers that go through blocks.
Well, I mean, not that long ago. I think it was like the year before COVID, I hit that wall. And I was like discouraged. I was like completely out of inspiration. And I was struggling like for real, like, like I wasn't like driven by anything. So I actually went into a therapy with a doctor in Colombia. He does like neural coaching, so it's all in your subconsciousness, and it's a long treatment, but I can tell you, man, it was very helpful. And I have to thank my wife because of that, because she was the one that actually like pushed me to do it, because I was a little skeptical about it. I was like, how is that even going to help, and
Yeah.
then it actually helped a lot,
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I mean, I guess in tattooing, it's everyone has different metaphors, right? And I hate sports. Sorry, I don't know if you're a sports guy, but like,
No.
but I acknowledge the fact that like teams have coaches, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
and exercise, like you exercise the rest of your body. If you don't exercise your brain as an organ, and if you're not
yep,
using it, then again, if you don't use it, you lose it, right? And so
totally.
same thing with like therapists. It's like, now good therapists are like good, tattooers or lawyers, like very expensive, hard to get in with, but the point is, if you get a good one, then they understand, brains.
Yep.
I talk about this sometimes, or at least it came up, I don't know when it came up recently, but when people ask me like, what classes should I take? I mean, I want to be a tattooer. Like, what art classes? I'm like, you should take psychology classes and business classes. Like
Yeah,
just get a foundation of it, right? So
yeah,
and it's like, and
exactly.
the psychology, like you deal with so many different types of people, and you're in a
Yeah,
high
yeah,
tense,
you're
it's
there, and like sometimes people come and share their problems or their experiences or their sadness, their happiness, and some people don't believe, but like some of that attaches to you, like then you come home and you bring in some of that on your shoulders, and it, like in the long run it can wear you up a little bit. So it's all about like like thinking first about your health, mental health, and your body health. That would be like, I think that would be a great advice for like people that are just starting. It's like tattoos and like the tattooing art. I feel like it's about the journey, like it's about like taking care of you so you can last the longer you can, and
yeah.
it's not just like, oh, take care of your hands or take care of your eyes, those things are gonna wear off at some point, but like your brain, that's something that you really
Yeah.
need to think about it.
I think we're zoning in on a shop therapist, right? If somebody was actually a licensed therapist, they could do a therapy session with the artists and keep everything
Yeah.
confidence, so there's no confidence that's broken. Point is, like, often the tattooers, you have to process, to your point, you have to process those memorial tattoos or the
Yep.
horrible stories or the redemption stories, hopefully, or
Yeah.
sometimes like, oh shit, this is not going to go well for this person, like you could,
Hmm.
because they're coming through and you see them on the way down. um
Yep.
if you're not talking to your partner or your friends about it, then you're keeping it in, and your partners and your friends don't really not want to or can't, and some of it you can't share. To
Yep.
actually have an official shop therapist is actually not a horrible, it's probably a fantastic idea.
It sounds like an amazing idea, to
Yeah.
be honest, 'Cause especially for those cases that you just mentioned, like I remember once I tattooed this guy, father, right? And it was probably one of the most touching tattoos experience I ever had. And it's like I was doing a portrait of his son, and I didn't know then, like, so I asked him like, oh, how old is your kid? So he goes like, well, he was supposed to be, I think it was like 8 or 9. And I was like, oh shit, in my brain, I was like, oh shit, I fucked up. Um, so I apologize. Like, I'm sorry. I didn't meant to like touch those feelings. He goes like, no, it's okay. That's part of why I'm here, So, during the session, he was telling me the story, and man, that thing just crushed me. It was an accident. He was riding an ATV, and the ATV got out of control. I think it was something with the throttle. So he had to crash the bike so he doesn't get off of the road, because it was like a valley. So he chose to crash the bike. His kid was, on the back seat. So in order to avoid just like flying out of the road, he crashed the bike against the mountain, and the kid died right there. So he was the first person seeing his son dead, and he kept blaming himself.
Sure.
Which I don't blame you. Like it's hard not to think that way. But in the middle of this session, he was telling me that, and my eyes just watered because this guy started crying like nonstop, and I was like, "Fuck, man!" Like, so this sort of experiences, and that's just to mention one, because I'm pretty sure there are like way more brutal experiences out there. But like the fact that they're bringing this piece to you, and that you're like somehow helping them to redeem themselves, that's hard, man. That's not an easy task.
I mean, that is, I mean, it's the power of tattooing, right? To help with those transformations that makes it worth that much money. It makes it worth that much energy. It's there's, I say it and I mean it, and it sounds cheesy, but it's like when you help somebody become who they want to be, it is actually the act that needs to happen for us to make the world, better, for humanity.
Yes. Totally.
And through those memorial tattoos, through the tattoos where people are conjuring what they want to be like, or trying to exercise, what they want to get out of them. I put a bunch of Catholic school, angels on me, and then I burned them off with a laser and covered them up. But that was all part of it's literally expunging parts of the brain on out. And anyways, well, I do actually feel like we're really just starting to get into some of the fun stuff. But this is not, unfortunately, this isn't like the super extended 3-hour podcast sessions. But we definitely have to get into one at some point. Maybe what we could do is just tease out, a return, and maybe we'll put together, or you already have the seminar. But if you have a seminar on like on the concepts and on stuff,
we can talk about it. Yeah, we can talk about it because the seminar is all in Spanish, so
that's okay.
It's hard to bring it into English for me.
Well, I mean, we do have Spanish, a small Spanish audience, but we do try to cater to the Spanish audience. Actually, so if you go to the homepage of Reinventing, there is one of the channels that's on that Reinventing 24/7 is all in Spanish.
Oh wow! Okay, I didn't know that.
Of course, it'd be great to. We have a couple panels, Tony Rommel's on a couple of them, and actually, there's a bunch of badasses on a whole bunch of stuff. And I've been on a couple. I think I even have one that I still need to edit from.
Well, I'll be more than happy to sometimes collaborate there. It would be cool, especially if it's in Spanish. It will be way easier and fluent for me.
Sure. Well, if you we're down. Well, anyways, let's catch up over the computers about that. And then, this was great. And like I said, I also we definitely have to do it again, because I feel like, or maybe get you on some of the other shows too, because I feel like as we were just starting to get into some of the fun, deep stuff.
Awesome.
Our time runs out. I guess that's what you're supposed to do, though, right?
Yeah.
If everybody wanted more.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. I am gonna click the end button here. So now's the time.